guys know I trust Barbell Apparel for my clothing, and this month they are giving away 15 grand in gear, including $10,000 worth of home fitness equipment supplied by Rogue Fitness. Barbell Apparel is truly interested in partnering with you to help you reach your fitness goals. Here's the deal for you. If you gain or lose weight, Barbell Apparel will swap out your clothes for your new size. Or if you shred your clothes during a tough workout, Barbell Apparel will swap you out for a brand new item. The team at Barbell Apparel knows it can be tough to stick to your New Year's resolution. That's why they want to bring your goals to the comfort of your own home. That way you can get your training in no matter what your day throws at you. For the month of January, every dollar that you spend on clothing counts as one entry to the giveaway. You will get great new clothes and a chance to win a great new home setup. Let this be the year of no excuses. Get after your fitness goals and partner with my friends at Barbell Apparel who are here to help you do it. Go to barbellapparel.com right now. That's going to help you level up your apparel game and enter you in this incredible giveaway. Or just click on the link below. Leadership 101 displayed by the Diamond himself. It is such a big deal. The decision that Dustin Poirier has come to, which is to simply do his job. He has simply decided to go out and do what it is he's proclaimed to the world he wants to do, which is to fight the top guys in the world 3 times a year. Right? But I have to word it this way because we don't see that often, right? There's changes that come. Dustin Poirier is a bona fide star. And they'll throw to him. Chael, what is your evidence for that? Not just because he's handsome and is successful and people like him and he's main evented and has records. You want to know a real simple thing? When they throw a cameo to him in a random arena. It's a very big deal, right? If you go to his hometown, you go to Louisiana and people pop for him, it's very different. You stick him in a random venue. Stick him out there in Vegas, just by example. You bring him out to Anaheim, just for example. You take him to Salt Lake, just for example. Throw a camera on him. Crowd goes crazy. It's called a pop. You throw that camera on 5, 6 different guys. But there's 2 things that are happening there. One, you're promoting, right? You got some stars there. You got some cameras. You're telling a story. You're promoting. Yeah, that's one thing. But you're also keeping track of who amongst these guys is the bigger star. And that's going to be decided purely by crowd's reaction. And that's one of the games that is being played. And there's a number of guys that don't know that that game is being played. They have no idea how badly they get judged when that camera goes to them and people don't pop. But it's a really big deal. Because some guys don't know why or how. And you'll know these guys. You'll see them and you'll turn to their friends in your living room and say, who was that? It'll be some guy that you know. It'll be a great star, but he was under a hat or he had some sunglasses on or he had something goofy going on where you did not recognize him. Poirier, on the other hand, started wearing these crazy shirts. I think they're Versace. It's like what The Rock used to wear when he was coming up. He looks fly as hell. But you know when you see the handsome dude with his hair combed and the fly shirt that it's Dustin Poirier. Just by example, it's good marketing. And I'm telling you, you got a bona fide star who's decided to risk a lot and take on and give somebody else an opportunity. That's just not how it works. That's just something that the stars don't do. They get entitled. And 155 pounds has, I believe it's the toughest division we've got. I believe it's the most competitive and deepest division that we've got. But it's got a roster full of really good fighters, and it has 5 stars. And we think that the really good fighters and the stars are the same guys. We think that, but we're not. You got to have a little parity. You have a little matchup. You got to have stars fighting the roster, not just fighting other stars. And that's been tough. Let me give you a great example, right? The Charles Oliveira story does not exist without Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson's up in the loft, and he throws the ladder down so that Oliveira could climb up there with him. And it was a massive risk. And Justin Gaethje the same night. The same pass the torch, hand it off, begin the descent of your career night. He went out to England, and he took on Fiziev. It just turned out that Gaethje defended his position. My teammate Dan Henderson had one of these. Dan Henderson had a pass the torch, you had a great run, you were done moment. He took on a guy named Pale Harris, and Pale Harris had never even fought in the UFC before. He was a ringer. He got vouched for. Tearing guys up in the practice room, had a secret technique. I mean, it's just one of these things. Dan passed the test, boom, right back to main events and big purses. And so many guys won't do that. They just simply won't do that favor. They won't extend that. They won't pass it on. And when I tell you that Poirier is showing great leadership, this is also at home, guys. I know he represents Lafayette, Louisiana, but it's by way of Florida. This is right there in Miami. These are his people. He's putting it all on the line. You come to Westland, Oregon, and you call me, and I'm not the main event, I'll do it. I'll do it because I'll set the same example. But I will tell you, I will be surprised that you had the courage to make that call. Right? You'll get a yes from me, but I will be surprised that you drew the short straw and were the one in the office that had to make that call. Poirier said yes, and it's a really big risk, and then DraftKings comes right out, puts out the line, and Poirier is the underdog. And, you know, it has to be done that way. And I used the Dan Henderson story, and I used the example of Justin Gaethje. You've only got to do this once. You just got to get pulled in once, but you do have to show, and there's tests that are done. And in the octagon, it's as real as it gets. That's true. But these tests, like, I'll just give you an example from Vince McMahon. But Vince McMahon, he could have just put a belt on a guy, and he could have just pushed a guy if that guy wasn't willing to do the job for somebody else. When his time was up, or if this experiment doesn't work, or it comes to its end, he's got to know that that guy will pass the torch, because when your career's done, Vince's is not. The business is not. And Vince sometimes would call a guy and tell him, a guy that he was getting ready to push, a guy who was getting ready to make champion, he would call him and say, hey, I need you to do a job on Saturday. It's a pay-per-view, and I need you to put so-and-so over. We're getting behind him. And just to test the reaction, just to make sure that that guy, if that call comes, will do the right thing, which is a painless and simple, okay. And a lot of times it was a test, and Vince was actually putting the belt on him and made him the champion of the world on Saturday. Which your page, it's a really big change in the wrestling world, right, champion? It's a very lot of things come with that, but you have to make sure you got the right guy. So every now and then a guy gets tested. Poirier got tested. He set an example. He said yes. I love it. I just want to bring it to your attention, right? Poirier deserves that credit. This is a hard fight. This Denis gentleman can get down. But it's a very interesting spot for Poirier. Not only is he going home, not only do you have a star who stepped down the card while at home, it comes 1 week after the biggest news of the year. Now, I understand the date, right? I understand, but it's still the biggest news of the year, which is the International Fight Weekend. The biggest card of the year is being headlined by two guys that have one thing in common. They both got stomped out by Poirier. So two guys with L's in their last fight, by finish, stomped out by Poirier, have a main event of a massive card, and he is does not. It's an interesting thing. It's a tough spot. Many guys would resist it. The diamond is different. This is one of the reasons why.